Stan Gibilisco here, proprietor and operator of amateur radio station W1GV, Whiskey 1 Good Vibrations, hailing from the black holes of Dakota Territory, United States of Amateur Radio. I'd like to just briefly outline some close-to-home advantages of QRP operation. That means, strictly speaking, 5 watts RF output or less. There's some advantages to that besides presenting a challenge to you to make contacts, testing antennas, and testing your contesting abilities. There's some close-to-home advantages as well, and I'd like to outline a few of them. One of them is that it's almost impossible for you to cause RFI to your neighbors. This business about damn ham radio operators always interfering with my whatever, dishwasher or whatever. Doesn't happen. There just isn't enough power to do it. Advantage number 2, and that's particularly true if your antenna is up high like a Yagi on a tower, which of course then will cause your neighbors to say, damn ham radio operators, always creating an eyesore. I'll bet if my chickens lay fewer eggs, it'll be because of that bloody station of his or hers. No more of that either. It won't have any effect on how many eggs their chickens lay. Advantage number 2, it is below the minimum threshold, I believe, for RF exposure rules. That is, personal exposure to electromagnetic fields from your ham radio station. Below a certain power level, there are no standards. You can sit right next to your antenna and it won't violate any of those not yet strictly enforced rules. I honestly don't know how much effect RF has on the human body over the long term. I don't think any of us really know. Nor do we know what affects the electromagnetic fields from the wiring in our house might have on us over a lifetime. We don't know any of that. I've got them written down here. Reduces RF in the shack too. You're not likely to get burned off your microphone or keyer, assuming your microphone isn't plastic or your key paddle isn't entirely plastic. How could it be? It wouldn't work. But problems with your RF interfering with your own peripheral equipment are virtually nil if you run 5 watts or less RF output, and again, specifically and particularly if your antenna is well away from your station. Even if the antenna has an imperfect design and you get RF on the feed line, actual RF in the shack manifestations, where your keyer sends characters you didn't want it to and things like that, they won't happen. It's virtually unheard of. I've never had it happen with me, even at 10 watts. So there you go. Turn that power level down, and besides that, the FCC strictly interpreted would mandate that you use the minimum amount of power necessary to conduct communications in any particular situation. I don't see very many hands going, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? But theoretically, that's what they should be doing. Isn't it interesting how sometimes if you really obey the rules strictly and perfectly, you just turn into a weirdo? Stan Gibilisco signing off, saying 73, which means best regards in ham radio jargon. Keep that power down. So long for now. By the way, that translates in my favorite language to da-da-da-da-da-da.